Hey there, I'm a little late to the challenge, but I spent the afternoon playing around with the challenge, having not seen the nice discussion on the FileMaker community. Anyway, I created a file to play with the idea of controlling how button bars display. So the challenge from Todd Geist was to have a button bar that's driven by a value list here on the left, birds, cats, dogs, and rabbits. So if we look at the top button bar, we see birds, cats, dogs, and rabbits. And if we remove them by clicking on the checkbox on the left, you see the buttons dynamically display. But you notice the challenge on the first one is the buttons are resizing, and that's something we often don't want to have happen. We want them to look a little bit more like method A, where as I add and remove buttons, the button segments are the same size. So we were looking at methods, and I didn't know what Todd's was, but I had my own, and I don't like it, but it does work. And so that's method A. And then method B, while experimenting with the challenge, does work for text only, but it will fail if you have icons associated with your values. And then I have method C, which I really liked method B, so I just kind of reworked it a bit, and it solves the problem of method B1 here, because what happens is when you uncheck, you'll see on method B that the birds and rabbits icons aren't aligned properly, and then my conditional formatting was not working. So I tried method C, and I got it to work, but the spacing goes out the window, so it's a total fail. So I'll give you a little demo of each one of these. So the top is just the challenge, and I'll show you what's under the hood on this. So here we have 4 buttons. Well, we're showing 4 buttons conditionally, but that requires that we have 4 extra segments in our button bar. Method A works, but I don't like it because it's a lot of work. It has a lot of variables. You have to click and adjust a lot of different things. So to make this work, we have 4 button segments that have the icon, and then it has a calculation to drive the name that appears, that comes out of the value list for each button segment. And then it also has a hide condition. So if the button, if it's not checked in the checkbox, it will be hidden. So we have to have a formula for each segment that is unique. And so that's how the buttons show and hide. But when they show and hide, they create space. So we need these spacer segments to fill in. When you hide the bird button, you need to show a spacer segment. So what's involved with the spacers are that you need to also have a hide condition so that they include the right amount of spaces when buttons are not displayed. And we also have to have conditional formatting. In this case, I just do a fill of transparent color, so that's not an issue. And then I solved the icon problem by using, on each one of these spacers, I have a 1 pixel transparent icon that I use as a button icon. And so that way I don't have to worry about clicking and setting the icon to transparent. It just saves a little headache there, so that's one of the things I often do. And the other thing that's kind of just a side note about conditional formatting is, in order to make the text disappear, you have to make it the same color as the background. You cannot choose transparent text, so that's kind of also a little bit of a thing. So this method obviously has a lot of things you gotta click. Each button needs a formula for the label and a formula to hide it. It has no conditional formatting. And then these all have a unique formula to hide each segment, and a single um, conditional formatting to fill transparent across all of the segments. So that's how that method works. But I don't like it because it's a lot of work, but I guess it might be the only way to do it. Method B in my experiment with the challenge was kind of cool because I eliminated all the extra segments and I'm only using conditional formatting. But this fails if you have an icon, so that's not very fun. If you have a button bar, you probably want icons. And I show that in this example here. This button bar here is the, will show that the labels misalign with the icons this way. So that's an example of the failure. And in my desperation, because I loved how simple this was, because it didn't have double the segments and double the conditions for hiding, it just had transparency. I mean, it just had conditional formatting. So method C, I tried to do it, but then the spacing goes out the window. So this is my demo file, and it was just fun to see if there is a better way. And I will share this file, and if somebody can come up with a way that's like B, but keeps the icons in the right place, I would love that. Thanks for watching.